question. What do you think of for Rent Live on Fox? Because this our show is going to lead in almost to Rent Live. What do you think of it?
I don't know, man. I think the casting is interesting. I don't know if it's a good interesting or a bad interesting, but they went completely opposite what I expected them to. And so I guess that's a good thing. So I appreciate the fact that they're taking risks, because I feel like if Jonathan Larson was still alive, he wouldn't want just the same Rent done in a new medium. I think Jordan Fisher, who is going to be playing Mark, is a really interesting choice. I mean, Mark has always played as a Jewish white guy, and this Mark is still going to be Jewish, I would assume, because that's in the text. But to have somebody who I believe he's mixed, mixed race, and I didn't know we were going to talk about this, so I didn't check Jordan Fisher's racial background, but who's not traditionally seen as white. I think that's really interesting, and I think that'll bring some different colors. I also think that he's an incredible performer. He, again, to continue our Jonathan Larson and Lin-Manuel Miranda connections, he did Hamilton on Broadway. He was one of the original replacements, playing Philip Hamilton and John Lawrence. He's really talented. He was Duty in Grease Live, so I think he's going to be fine. Then you've got another interesting thing where you've got Vanessa Hudgens playing Maureen. Now, she has a history with Rent. She did Rent at the Hollywood Bowl, but she played Mimi opposite Aaron Tveit, who was also one of the stars of Grease Live, which she was as well. So it's a really interesting cast. I'm not exactly and again, I'm not a huge whatever. I don't know anything about High School Musical, but I actually think Vanessa Hudgens is really talented as well. So I think casting wise, they're very good. I don't see either of them fitting those roles super well, but maybe they'll make it work. I'm also not super sure how they're going to make Brandon Victor Dixon, who's an Emmy nominee for playing Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar, how they're going to make him Collins. I guess it makes sense if you think that he was a professor at MIT, so he's probably not in his early 20s like the rest of the cast is. But BVD is, I think he's 40. So, I mean, that's a huge age gap. And it just seems a little weird to me. But for the most part, I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Mark Platt, who is producer of just about anything musical theater related that ever makes it to his screen, is involved with this. He's also the father of Ben Platt. So I kind of assumed that Ben Platt would play Mark. But I'm cautiously optimistic. It could be an absolutely unmitigated disaster. But for now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt just because I'm intrigued by how they decided to cast this one.
See, I've said with this one, Grease Live is my favorite live television musical, besides Jesus Christ Superstar, but I enjoy Grease. I'm a Grease guy. I love it, and I love Grease Live on Fox. Fox could pull this off. I think they can. It worries me some of the content. I'm not sure how it's going to work on television, but they can pull it off, so we'll see how it works.
The content doesn't bother me as much because it's Fox. Like, Fox TV shows have long pushed the envelope beyond what normally happens on screen. And let's be honest, in 2019, when this finally airs, like, nothing in Rent is really that controversial. Sure. I think NBC is going to have much more issues with trying to censor hair. But they've said it's going to be a kinder, gentler, more family-friendly hair, which I don't understand why you're doing hair if you're going to make it kinder and gentler. But that's, another topic for another podcast, right, I suppose. But it's just, lots of interesting choices, and I appreciate interesting choices. Like, if you're going to do something, do it with a fresh perspective. Don't just try to recreate what's already been done. And if you can do that, I'm here for it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
All right. Well, Matt, why don't you plug away Broadway World? Go for it.
You can follow Broadway World at Broadway World on Twitter. I think we're official Broadway World on Instagram. We're on Facebook as well. We are the largest theatrical website in the world. So if you need theater news, that's where you can get us. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BWWMatt. And I do a daily theater podcast called Today on Broadway, as well as host a show called Tell Me More on the Broadway Radio network. You can find us wherever you get podcasts, Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever, by searching for Broadway Radio. So I appreciate all the opportunities to plug, Blake.
No problem at all. And thank you, Matt, for coming on. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everyone else, we're part of the Filling the Void Podcast Network. You can hear me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Clerks Minute, talking about Clerks 2, and also every single Friday on the Blake and Sal Show. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys had fun hearing our conversation, kind of off the beaten path of the actual movie. Not a problem. And thank you all for having a good day. No game on today.